in progress.
All right, this is Mr. Spensey, your stat sensei, and we're going to be doing scenario 3 of the chi-square test of independence. And this was a 2003 question 5. A random sample of 200 students was selected from a large college in the United States. Each selected student was asked to give his or her opinion about the following statement. The most important quality of a person who aspires to be president of the United States is his knowledge of foreign affairs. Each response was recorded in one of 5 categories. All right. So first off, we have a single random sample. That's really important that we notice that we have a single random sample. It's a single sample. The gender of each selection was noted. The data are summarized in the table below. Is there sufficient evidence to indicate that the response is dependent on gender? Oh, that's a key word. Dependent lets me know that I want to run a test of independence. So we have our observed values, and we'll have to come back and calculate the ones in red. We'll look at that in a moment. Response, so our null hypothesis is response to category and gender are independent, which is to say they're not related, they're not associated. Responses are not independent. When we say that, we're saying that they are related, they are associated. Conditions. First one, random sample was given. N is less than 10%, 200 divided by 0.1. They said it's a large college, so reasonable to assume that there are at least 2,000. All right. So now we need to do the expected values. Well, here's the way you go about doing that. You're going to go the second button here, followed by the matrix button, where it's x to -1. And in this case, we have 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a 2 by 5 matrix. So I'm going to arrow over to the word edit, press enter, and I'm going to make 2, enter, 5, enter, 2 by 5. And I need to input the size. So 10, 15, 15, oops, 10, enter, 15, enter, 15, enter, 25, enter, 25, enter. The next one, 20, enter, 25, enter, 25, enter, 25, enter, and lastly, 15. Hopefully I have that in correctly. If I do, I'm going to press second quit. And I'm going to go ahead and run the chi-square test. I know that seems a little odd to do now, but we need to do that to get our expected values. So the stats test, chi-squared test, which is letter C. Observed, expected, we won't change that, and we'll say calculate. I'm going to go ahead and write this down because this is going to be important later. So chi-squared equals 8.92 with a p-value of 0.0630. So they want to know, so I still need to calculate these expected values because I got to finish my conditions. So if I go back to second, over to matrix, to edit, and scroll down to letter B, I have a 2 by 5 there. And I now have my matrix sizes, or my matrix expected values, 13.5, 18, 18, 22.5, 18, and I can scroll down and get the other values as well. Okay, so I have those values in there. And by the way, this is a 2 by 5 matrix. So all the expected values were greater than 5. That's good. Counts are all whole numbers. Now, really important to note, expected values don't have to be, but counts must be whole numbers. And then we had 2 rows, so 2 minus 1, 5 columns, 5 minus 1. So that's 1 times 4. Degrees of freedom in this case are 4. Remember, when you're doing chi-squared, you can show the first one and the last one. So we're going to show this and this. Oops, excuse me. This one and this one. So in this case, 10 minus 13.5 squared over 13.5. Does this observed, what you actually, the whole number minus what you expected? And then we'll show the last one, 15 minus 22 squared over 22 and equals 8.92, and with a p-value is 0.06. Compared to 0.05, we failed to reject. So our p-value is about 0.05, about 0.063. We failed to reject the null. There is not sufficient evidence at alpha equal 0.05 to suggest that response category and gender are not independent. So in other words, the conclusion is we have to conclude that they are. We didn't prove that they are, but we're going to conclude that they are because we can't reject it. We can't reject that claim. All right. Well, that's chi-square test of independence. The next one will be homogeneity. Very, very similar to test of independence. Look forward to seeing you on that one. Thank you.